Hello my lovely classics nerds, and welcome to this build-along video for the Walls of Troy. This is one of 4 structures in the Build Your Own Trojan War Playset that I've made and hopefully you've downloaded and printed. The first structure is the Skaian gates in the Walls of Troy. And in terms of Paris, where Paris equals simplicity, this is rated 4 Paris. So we have 4 pages for this piece. This is the front gate. You'll be able to cut around the gates so that they actually open as well. And there's a platform above so you can sight some of your characters up there. Then the Skaian gate has 2 towers with platforms in as well that go on either side of these small walls. So you end up with the main gate in the middle and then the 2 towers on either side, and they're really quite well defended because you can have people standing on each of those towers. So let's make that up. Hopefully you've already worked out that the thick black lines are cut lines, and thus you have cut out all your pieces successfully. You may also have noticed that the thinner grey lines are fold lines, and we will be scoring and folding those as we go along. There are also many tabs, lots of which are coloured in grey, and that means you will need to put glue on them. We're going to start building the Skaian gates first, so I am going to now, using a metal ruler and the edge of a scissors, score, pressing quite firmly but not all the way through the card, along the fold lines. Now at this point you could also use a craft knife to actually cut around the doors in order to be able to fold them back and open them. I totally forgot to do that, so this is my reminder to you that if you want to do that now. You'll also notice that between the tabs at the bottom here are some thick black lines which you'll need to cut along so that the tabs can be separate. Now continue to score along the fold lines of the walls. It's a bit difficult to actually see where the fold lines are here. You can see them mostly at the top in the crenellation, or you can just watch me doing it on this video. And now you can give what you've scored a little bit of an experimental fold. And you can also fold down the tabs at the bottom too. Now, I'm not going to put any glue on these tabs yet because these are going to glue the walls to the base, and I haven't got a base, so they're there for later basically, and they'll also help it stand up. Now we're going to add the little platform. So very quickly, score along the sides of the tabs on the platform. Then fold down the tabs. These longer tabs are tricky, so maybe try and do a little bit at a time until you're ready to give it a nice firm fold along the edge. Now, this will fit roughly along the top of the wall at the bottom of the crenellations here. I'm just giving it a tiny snip so I remember where to put it, which I stupidly did off camera. However, I made these so that you could basically fit them where they fit on the walls, because that's how wide the wall is and how wide the platform is, which I clearly forgot at the time. Anyway, stick the tabs and pop it inside the walls. So it's easiest if you stick it to the main widest part first and then to the side parts. I know this from experience. Look how fiddly I'm making it. And I've clearly put it in slightly the wrong place as well because it's slightly too wide. So I should have shifted that slightly further down the walls to where the width of the wall is the same as the width of the platform. There we are, all done. Now let's look at the walls in between the sky gates and the towers on either side. So there are two pieces like this which are identical but reversed. Again, we need to score down the side of the tabs. Fold them nicely, although they are actually going to fold the other way. It's quite good to fold them both directions so that they are folded really strongly. Same with the other side. I'll speed the video up here a little bit. Both walls done, it's time to add them to the gate. And I've now folded the tab back the right way around and I'm adding some glue. So that folded up tab is now going to be attached to the inside of the left side wall of the Skaian gate. So with this stick glue, which I tend to favour, you need to hold it in place, fold it over and really hold it down to make sure it sticks firmly. Then we're going to do exactly the same thing with the other side. So adding glue to the tab, folding it up in the right direction would also be a really good step, maybe before actually gluing it. Nice one. And then attaching it to the inside, this time of the right hand wall. And again, holding it really firmly, folding it over and sticking it down to make sure that the glue takes hold. There, nice. Now we're going to let that dry, but you can see the walls are taking shape. Now let's have a go at the left-hand tower. Again, scoring the tabs. Yeah, I know you've pretty much got the handle of this bit already. Well done. Now, making sure we score down the fold lines of the tower. They match up with where you're going to cut the tabs at the bottom in a minute and the thin lines you can see at the top in the crenellations. And snip those little tabs. Bendy bend. That's not brilliant bending there, honestly. I could have done that better. But you see the whole thing is very similar in shape to the Skaian gate, and this one's got an extra tab that you're going to attach it to the left wall with which you will attach it to the left wall. Bad grammar. Now do exactly the same for the platform tabs as you did with the first platform tabs. And foldy fold. And gluey glue. I put a lot of glue on. I think you need to with stick glues. Otherwise it just peels off. Not the glue, the piece of paper that you're sticking with it. Now, like I said before, they roughly line up with the bottom of the crenellations, but as I also said before, make sure it lines up in terms of width, because that makes much more sense. Holding these down quite firmly until they're dry is pretty key. That's pretty much right. Now to do exactly the same to the right-hand tower. Fast forward. Now let's get these tabs stuck onto the walls. It's as simple as adding some glue. Lots of glue. Seriously gluing that a lot there. I really do want this to last. And then sticking it on. It's weirdly more tricky than it clearly needs to be. But once you've got the inside tab covered, you're pretty much spot on. I should say as well, the thickness of your card often means, if you're using thick card like I am here, 300 GSM, that you might need to leave a little gap so that it can fold. Same with the other side. Lots of glue. Stick it on. Voila! And here it is, your three-dimensional walls of Troy with the Skaian gates at the front. Pretty darn majestic, even if I forgot to make the doors open. For the figures, simply cut round each one, leaving a white outline, unless you want to get really in there and cut each one out individually. Then fold along where you can see the top of the tab, and that's it. Make sure they stand up, jiggle them about a bit to make sure they do, and you're ready to play. Then you can act out your favourite Iliad scenes like I've done here. No, Hector, don't do it! In the next video, we'll make the second structure in the collection, the Achaian camp, aka the Greeks, although they weren't actually called Greeks at that point. Make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss my other videos, such as on ancient literary technique, the ancient Greek gods, and lots of other lovely classics content.